Greetings everyone, here's Lodrick and this is a game War in the Pacific Admirals Edition. This is my play-by-email match against KilRoy. He is the commander of the Allied Forces and for me it is the Empire of Japan. This is scenario 1, no modifications, all very standard. You can see that my Japanese presence was able enough to let the base in central China switch again back to Japanese control. Why this happens, I'm not so sure, because there is also Chinese presence, but it was possible. Maybe the Chinese local population was more happy with my rule. Last turn was also a not successful airstrike against this task force. They run in my carriers, but later on I can scout them, but there was no airstrike. But now my cover force catch up. And yeah, this is, now easy going normally for my two battleships. I can bring in here directly some damage on the AO. And this ship is even loaded with fuel. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is really too interesting. It's only if the destroyers can land any hits on my ships. The AO is of course an easy target. This is now a night engagement, but we have 70% moonlight. So it is maybe not so handicapped situation for the Japanese to score here some hits. So secondary hits on the destroyers. And in this game, I'm not so sure, because some people maybe think about this, because I was also thinking, I think the Congo class battleships, battle cruisers, they have originally this 15 centimeter secondary class, 15 centimeter secondary batteries. But ISIL class and the Fuso class and also Nagato, they all have, I don't know more sure, but they have this 14 centimeter, or at least the Nagatos. And they're normally the newer generation. Not much difference, but some years younger. I mean, the reason in reality is that, of course, a 14 centimeter shell or gun you can fire much more quickly. You get more rounds out of this, and the destroyer is fast, so you must maybe. It's more complicated to hit him. With a 15 centimeter shell, you can create much more damage than compared to a 14 centimeter. But you can fire more quickly. But in this game, I'm not sure if there's really if there's this factor in the game. If the gun needs more reload time. I don't know, it's really a question I must maybe ask. I mean, not that you can change it. Firstly, you cannot change it. But sometimes I think it's, maybe a problem. If this is really not part of the calculation, how quickly you can fire your gun. Because in that case, it's more or less a downgrade for the Nagato battleships to have only 14 centimeter and not 15 centimeter. Good, the battle is over at the end. The destroyer is not heavily damaged, but damaged, and the AO is dead. So the S-boat trying to attack my cargo ship, but failed. And this is a Mark 10 torpedo submarine, so normally there's no issue with the torpedo. Only a little small warhead, so the power and damage is not so great. The AO is thinking. Maybe I can get a day engagement with the destroyers to finish them off. Or my carriers can find them and end this. We'll see. Yeah, I already start loading my troops. Pegan is done. And no daytime Navy engagement. So I get detection, enemy destroyers. Now we continue with China bombardments, and there more and more Chinese units are dying on the ground. And the same for the British in North Thailand. But this is really always tough in the jungle. Yeah, no airstrike again. I mean, no Navy airstrike so far in the morning. No torpedo run, no dive bombers. More reported hits on the destroyers. Okay. Little more bombardment in China. Oh, and now we have an airstrike, but only 17 dive bombers. Okay. But this is, I think, always a choice of the commander. He must choose or calculate and judge how many strike aircraft they want sent against the target. The other question is always, of course, if there's no other target, no second target, then why don't send all of your strike aircraft? Yeah, anyway. So I get here one bomb hit on one destroyer on fire, but not heavy damage. And no other airstrike. But this also means that these reported hits on this destroyer was all fake, because so far it looks like that the destroyer had no real damage at the beginning. And here's now, surprise surprise, Japanese heavy cruisers also have anti-submarine equipment. So my heavy cruiser is hunting an S-boat. And this, I mean not only, but there's also some destroyers, but you can see mainly the heavy cruiser running out of ammunition and make 7 hits on this submarine. Not bad for a heavy cruiser. So I'm not sure if the Allies heavy cruisers also have anti-submarine equipment. Good. Now it's my attack on Prom, kicking out all the Allied forces. Take the base, force them to flee, and they taking. I have light losses. The Allies are more or less all broken or directly destroyed, and the Allies jumping here over the river. And this is more or less where I will also now go, because once I take this hex, I think all what is left over from this Rangoon forces is destroyed. This is also a cleanup operation. This was only some vehicles left and they are now all destroyed. And I take 2 yin. There was no forces left, so one more city captured. And the base was at Port Headland. But this was only bombardment, okay. But I have here now my Thai divisions. I think they are ready for attack. And they are kicking back these Allies forces. And they also must retreat where they come from. And if they cannot retreat, then I destroy it. And now after many successful bombardments, I would say they was all successful. KilRoy make now the shock attack on Auckland, and he can force out my units, because my forces in Auckland are, I think, still low on supplies. Yeah, you can see here. So 1 or 2 more turns, I could maybe have the supplies and have a better chance to defend. But in this case, it was successful. But I would also say that the losses are equal. I lost maybe a lot of non-combat support units, but they're not really so important for me. The fighting forces, the Allies lost much more and have more disabled units. So even if I lose the hex in Auckland, the casualties for the New Zealand American or Allied forces are still high. At the same time in Hamilton, I can hold the ground. No chance to break here. Chongqing, a new shock attack, trying to force me out before my reinforcements arrive. But again, it's not working. Many destroyed Chinese forces, And also here the main battle in Hengyang, only bombardment, but the bombardment is also more or less in my favor. So for the Chinese, this looks very dire. Whatever they want to do, they're out of supplies, they have no strategic option more. And it looks like the Japanese have win the war in China. I mean, there's still something to do, so there is no total victory up to now, but I don't believe there's a big change more coming. So light air losses, but for this small dive bomber attack, still 2 ops losses, a little stupid, but okay. And other stuff getting destroyed. Not really many pilots getting killed, but 2 pilots getting killed and 2 are wounded. Okay. Ship sunk, nothing. And the casualty numbers are increasing. I think it is, I don't know more, if it's 1,000 more points, I don't know. But at least there are less Chinese units are left. Yeah. So this is also, I mean, maybe already some turns before, but this was more or less the end of the game. I have, I think, one more turn left, but after this, KilRoy, already some turns before end of May, more or less, KilRoy told me that he don't have much hope and belief in this game, and he also had some issues with his old PC because he played this first on this old PC, then he bought a new PC and installed the game completely new with the new upgrade and patch. The new patch have also the new map. And then he makes some test runs with his new PC and with a new version of this game with a new map, and he simply had a much better feeling and more stability. In this match he had more or less, sometimes, not always, but some issues that what he saw in the replay was not always matching what was in reality happening. I mean, the same happened, I think, with Jochen and every player sometimes. The question is how often this happens. And I think he also had maybe other issues. But at the end, and he was also maybe a little surprised by my play style. I don't know. And so it's the last turns he maybe try something in China to test out how aggressive you can attack and how it's play out. So this is also why maybe KilRoy attack here with everything what he had to see how the numbers are changing, that he get a better feeling for this. But at the end, you can see that Japan control now Rangoon, Japan control more or less China. This is now, I would now say, nearly cleanup operations, if the game will continue. And yeah, and New Zealand also looks, yeah, I mean, I get kicked out of Auckland. This was a success, but the question is this enough to change here the tide? I don't know. So I have maybe one more turn, I'm not more sure. And once this is done, I can maybe show the final numbers. And then this is complete. If there's anyone outside want to continue this game, you can let me know. But I already start with KilRoy a complete new match with a new map. I mean, the new map is have a little difference. In China, it is changing. There's new bases, and there are much more off-map stuff here. There's a whole Egypt is completely here. Egypt and England, I think, I don't know more. But it's only for the Allied player, nothing for me, for Japan. But there's a lot of change in China for road connections, all of this, this major rivers. These bridges are not in reality here. So the new map simply don't allow you to rail units over the bridge. So you can rail them from city to city, then you must walk over the river, and then you can rail again. This also happened here. I can later show this. And also the roads will change. There are some areas they have no road or other road like this. Also new bases and a lot of more industry, but only light industry and resources. You have many cities here, they are empty. But this is of course a little stupid, like, I mean, I don't know more which cities, but in the new map there are much more bases, and nearly every base have some light industry and some resources, because normally why there's a city? Every city will produce something, or there is normally no need for a city. Especially here in Rangoon, there's a lot of change, and in China is a lot of change. Only I think the biggest change is Rangoon, Thailand, China. There the map changed a lot. But it's also changed in Philippines a little, and in Malaya. I can maybe explain this once we start this game. So, good. Then, see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.